Welcome to this explainer. All right, let's just jump straight into it. I want you to completely transport your mind for a second. We're setting the stage in a prehistoric world, way before concert halls, or recording studios, or history books were even a thing. And honestly, our ancestors definitely weren't trying to win any Grammys here. Today, we're going to unravel an evolutionary mystery that is literally hiding in plain sight on every single radio station and playlist in the world. So how exactly did humans first make music? Picture an early human standing out in the absolute dark, right beneath this vast, starry sky. There are no microphones, there are no massive audiences. It's just a single individual listening to the wind moving through the trees, maybe water striking a stone, and suddenly having this realization that sound could become something way more than just background noise. I want you to consider this really profound thought. Music didn't just originate in palaces or formal institutions. Before there were songs, there was simply a human being, somewhere in the dark, listening to the world and feeling a rhythm inside their body that just wanted to escape. The absolute earliest origins of music started in the deepest part of human instinct. It all began with a primal need to feel, to communicate, and to belong to a community. Which brings us to Section 1, the rhythm of life. To really understand music, we have to strip away all the fancy instruments and look at our very first foundation, which is the human body itself. You see, the earliest humans were not just sitting around a cave trying to invent catchy tunes. They were entirely focused on surviving. But survival itself creates rhythm. Think about it. The footsteps on the ground as they walked or ran, those made patterns. The simple, necessary act of breathing created cycles. And the heartbeat inside their chests created these relentless driving pulses. So these daily physical acts of survival naturally created repetitive, syncopated beats long before a single drum was ever carved. Everything completely changed when our ancestors began noticing the patterns that were already happening inside their biological lives and then started to share them. Imagine a group gathering around a fire. Someone starts striking their hands together just to stay warm, or maybe they're coordinating their movements to carry a heavy animal. Suddenly, all those individual biological rhythms lock together, uniting a bunch of separate bodies under one powerful shared pulse. Let's move into Section 2, Voices in the Dark. So that very first instrument, it was the human voice. But way before we had anything resembling complex lyrics, early vocalizations had incredibly urgent practical jobs to do. It was a soft hum to comfort a crying child, a really sharp call to signal safety, a rhythmic chant to encourage a group during some grueling work, or a loud cry to scare away a dangerous predator. These early patterns organized raw, chaotic emotion into structured sound, and it was purely for vital human connection. It definitely wasn't for entertainment. In this birthed a really beautiful relationship because dance and music likely emerged right side by side. Dance is essentially the physical movement that builds social bonds. Imagine stamping feet and swaying bodies around a glowing fire. Music, on the other hand, well, music gives that dance a shared voice. By merging that physical stamping with vocalizations, individuals suddenly felt like they were part of something much, much larger than themselves. All right, Section 3, Nature and Early Instruments. We humans are excellent imitators, and natural inspirations were quite literally everywhere. You had the distinct calls of birds, the heavy rumble of thunder, the rhythmic pounding of waves on the shore, and of course, the incredible, almost magical acoustics of echoes inside caves. Early humans took all these environmental sounds and started turning them into intentional performances. I mean, just a shout that returns as a cave echo makes a person realize that sound is something that can actually be manipulated. And from there, music was built one incredible discovery at a time. Step 1 was simple percussion using sticks and stones, which was honestly probably discovered by accident or just through play. Step 2 was realizing that stretched animal hides over a frame create this deep, resonating vibration. And then we see a massive leap in Step 3, crafting hollow bone flutes to create distinct pitch. There's a really crucial distinction here that we need to point out. Rhythm organizes time. It keeps a group physically synchronized. But pitch organizes emotion. Once early humans crafted those hollow bone flutes, pitch allowed a single musical note to convey intense longing, or explosive joy, or deep sadness, all without the need for a single spoken word. It was a completely new dimension of expression. Which leads us to Section 4, Music as Survival Technology. Survival was incredibly difficult back then. So you have to ask, why spend precious, life-saving energy on something that didn't literally provide food or shelter? Well, because music provided things that were just as vital. It created intense social unity in small, very vulnerable groups. It drastically reduced fear when facing the unknown. It acted as an insanely powerful memory aid for passing down crucial information. It facilitated courtship, and it provided a structure for rituals to make sense of a pretty terrifying world. Music wasn't just some luxury, you guys. It was a highly effective survival technology that synchronized minds. In fact, many scholars believe music and language actually evolved right alongside each other. It's helpful to think of speech as music that has been given a very specific utilitarian day job, to convey literal facts. Music, then, is speech completely freed from the rigid limits of ordinary meaning. Structured sound was acting as a crucial communication tool long before complex grammar even existed. And furthermore, our own biology proves this. The human brain naturally predicts patterns, constantly finding tension and satisfying release in melody. Our neurobiology literally rewards us with a physical sense of pleasure for anticipating beats correctly. This means that while music might feel like magic, it is actually deeply natural and hardwired right into the physical structure of our brains. Now for our final part, Section 5, From Utility to Art. To truly understand this massive evolutionary leap, think about a modern child. Have you ever noticed how a toddler will just naturally start clapping or rocking or smiling to a beat long before they ever learn any formal rules about music? That right there is pure innate human instinct. That prehistoric impulse isn't just history, it is ancient, it is alive, and it is embedded in our biology today. We still carry our ancestors' need for rhythm. It's a fact that every culture has music, but no two have the exact same musical language. This really beautiful balance of universality and diversity is absolute proof of how deeply embedded music is in the shared human experience. It grew in thousands of different places, shaped by totally distinct climates, cultures, and tools, and yet the underlying instinct remained exactly the same. So, what happens when sound stops being merely utility and becomes pure expression? Try to imagine that incredible, magical moment in history when a human being realized that a sound could be repeated not to warn of a predator and not to help lift a heavy rock, but purely for beauty and pleasure. It evolved into art. It became a vessel for honoring the invisible and remembering the past. Because before it was art, it was us. Every single time you listen to a modern song and feel a shiver down your spine, you aren't just hearing sound waves. You are echoing an ancient, deeply human need to make life audible. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What are the hidden origins of all the other everyday things we just take for granted? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and stay curious.